I must admit, I find it very hard to look at the TV weather presentation at the end of the news, the last couple of minutes, without being distracted by the weather presenter and how they go about their business. I'm mesmerised by the gestures in particular, how they hold their hands, how they point, where they clasp or fold, or how often they present an open palm. All these sorts of things I notice and observe. Arm movement above the eye line is often rare with weather presenters, but when it comes to public speaking, it does emotionally lift the audience when you do raise your hand above the speaker's eye line. Anyway, getting back to the weather presenter, their hands are very much in sync with the weather events that they're talking about. They might be downward pointing for any rain that's falling, or waving their arms for the winds that might be blowing through. Which is the same with public speakers. They need to be in sync with the content of the speech that they're delivering. 1, 2, 3. Those gestures make sense, better sense than 1, 2, 3. That doesn't make sense at all if you're counting incorrectly. So it's very important that when you're emphasising, that you do hit the point that you're making at the point that you're making. Again, getting back to the weather presenters, I do remember one using the palm of his hand to represent a weather map because the graphic had gone down in the background. So he just used the palm of the hand to represent Australia, which is what it was, and just to talk about the weather moving through Australia as per the palm of his hand. Pretty nifty. Another current weather presenter that I really enjoy watching welcomes people to his weather studio with a big flourish of an open palm and sort of welcoming in as he arrives, as the camera pans towards him and then focuses on the map behind him. It's quite good to get a unique gesture, a unique characteristic about you, and it does represent you. It's just a little nuance that you can use to get some unique movement to represent you and the style that you portray. If you get a chance to watch this particular weather presenter, it's Danny Tran on the ABC, Australian ABC. You can see him welcoming people to his weather studio as he's announced before he starts the content. More recently, you find weather presenters are required to do a bit more stagecraft than what they have over the years, and you see the full body movement as they move around the stage. Public speakers use stagecraft too, and it's important when you are speaking to an audience and you have the capacity to move around a stage, then you're making a certain point at one point in the stage, you're making another point at another point in the stage, and another point at a third point in the stage. And you can refer back to that point on the stage to an earlier point, and that just sort of anchors it in the people's mind. And you see the same with weather presenters. They're talking about a certain aspect of the weather at a certain point on the stage, and when they move to another point on the stage, they're going to talk about a different aspect of weather. So I do recommend that you check out the weather presenters and look at their body movement, look at their stagecraft, and look at their gestures as a way of just picking up some hints on how to excel at public speaking.